Chit, how is your exams?
Not too bad, Shifu.
Not too bad. Wow,
Not too bad.
that's good. Have you finished your exams?
I have another one this afternoon.
This afternoon. uh, but okay lah.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was in my year 3, uh, I changed my strategy to studying. I sleep the most, uh, eh, but my results was the best of my 3 years. Yeah. Um, I can't. I don't know whether you can say that I study the least. Yeah, but I remember some of my hall mates coming to my room, and then they were like, "Hey, why are you still sleeping? Like, why you not studying for your exam?" I'm like, "No, I have my own schedule. You don't disturb me. Let me sleep." Yeah, I remember. In the past, we always like, when you're preparing for exam, then you feel like, wow, you must make use of every single hour to study. You study until your mind is gone. So, but in year 3, um, I would I position my table to a corner of the room so that to get into the chair, right, I need to climb in. So it means it's very hard to get out also. And then I will put one audio CD to play, and it's Shaggy and Aska. No, please don't be mistaken. It's incidental, okay? Because I took Japanese in year 2, then the Datit sensei, she recommended us to listen to some music to get used to hearing Japanese. But in the end, the one that I bought has some English words. I think half English, half Japanese. In the 90s, quite common. The non-English speaker like to mix some English words inside. So anyway, I'll put it in. Sometimes I'll put soundtracks so there's no words. It won't distract me. Because for me, when I hear any songs, it will just keep playing inside my mind. So anyway, I'll put it in, then I'll study. And I'll listen. It's more to block out of any other sound. Then I'll study until I finish. When I finish the audio, yeah, then I will climb out. And then I'll sleep for about 15 minutes. Yeah, or sometimes I'll just play games. So my hall mates on the same floor, because last time when we stay in the hall, usually we don't close our door and people walk in like really like communal living. Then they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? I thought you have your paper today." I'm like, yeah, I know. Then why are you sleeping? This is my sleeping time. uh, year one is a different thing. Year one, I was so active in the hall activities. My neighbor came over to my room, and one day he asked me, "Hey, when do you study?" I'm like, what do you mean? Then he said, "After class, I see you disappear, and you go off to do your hall," because I was the hall welfare secretary. Then year one welfare secretary, second year Hon Gen Sec. So he was like, the whole day after we finish class, you just disappear, and then you are busy with your hall activity, hall, your committee work until 10 o'clock. Then we see you come back, and then 10 o'clock I still play games, play until I go to sleep. You are still playing. So when do you actually study? Then I was like, yeah, well. But my year one was not the worst. Year one was the second, maybe it's second worst, not second best. Year one was still quite okay actually. That's why I got so complacent. Then year two totally messed up everything. Then after year two, how to sue. Then year three better. Yeah. So I used to tell the NTU Buddhist Society, like, why is it that when it's coming to exams, then you all stop all the activities? I mean, of course, the Students Affairs Office, SAO, they request all society to stop their activities like 4 weeks, 4 or 3 weeks. Is it something like? Do they still do that, Chit? No. Last time they used to do that. Like about 1 month before exams, they will come. They will send out a circular. All activities are to stop for the exams. So I used to tell them. In my time, it was like that. When I started giving talks at NTU Buddhist Society, it's still like that. So I used to tell them, so when it's exam period, you cannot do like you cannot attend the Dhamma, the Dhamma fellowship. You cannot do meditation anymore. Then they're like, no ma, exam period ma. So I say, then exam period, do you not sleep? Do you not eat? Do you not shit? Do you not go and bathe? You don't do anything except study. Then yeah, I told them, I said, and the truth is, I believe there are other religious society in the campus. They may not organize big events, but their fellowship will continue. Yeah, their fellowship is something that is already part of their life. They don't stop it simply for exams. In fact, during exams, they may feel like they need it more. And to me, this is something that is very interesting in Buddhism. Yeah, many times Buddhists are. Of course, we have the 临时抱佛脚. Yeah, so a bit interesting. Yeah, our practices tend to be separate from our life. The moment some part of our life is more intense, then the first thing we may drop is our practices. Yeah, maybe it's because I don't know. But for this group, at least we can say, okay, this morning 61 quite steady. Yeah. But for some groups, for some, I think they don't see the practice integrated into their life. So then this will happen. Yeah, this will happen. Yeah. So when we do our daily practices, we must integrate to our life. Integrate doesn't mean that you just find a slot and just keep on doing. Integrate meaning that your daily practices must help you deal with your problems. You understand what it means? Yeah, must help you deal with your problems. The exercises that I've been sharing with you all are more related. If you look at the exercises, they are quite directly related to our day-to-day interaction with people. Yeah. There may be some who feel like, hey, how come Sifu don't give spiritual Dhamma exercise? Huh? Like, how come Sifu don't ask us to do chanting 108 times? Do how much offering? Yeah, burn how much incense? Or set up some things at home, buy the 7 gems. Yeah, that one more spiritual. There was once I saw someone, I don't say who, but I saw someone buy a sachet of the, qi bao, lapis, beryl, lazuli, and so on and so forth. And when I saw it, then I'm like, what is this? Then the person told me, oh, this is offering to the Buddha. Then I'm like, offering to Buddha. Then as usual, like, you don't know one. I mean, that was before I become monk. You don't know one. Yeah, this one is good. This one is good. Then I'm like, but why are you offering this? Then it's like, it's good, man. 7 gem, 7 treasure. Then I'm like, But before you learn Dhamma, you're not buying these things anyway. Yeah, it's not as though you wear the beryl it's not as though you are wearing necklaces of lazuli and things like that, right? Then you purposely go and buy it to offer. To me, it's like it becomes ceremonial. So I said, you really want to offer, you take your diamond ring, you take your gold necklace, put it there, and then treat it like it's not yours anymore. That's really offering out. You purposely go and buy how much is that? $5,000. No, that one maybe $30, $20. Then do you really feel like it's a treasure? You do. So to me, um, I don't say that that's not a good practice. I say that for most people, we do it in a ceremonial way. Yeah, in a ceremonial way. Yeah. On one hand, we put all these treasures up there, but then our real treasure is in the garage. It's in the car park. Our new car, our new phone, yeah, our family members. That's our treasure that we hold very dear to us. Yeah. So that's why our exercises are not so spiritual. Not spiritual. Yeah. But it doesn't cover everything also. Yeah. So application has a lot to do with the student. You all must try to go and apply it. Try to go and apply it. So last week we had the exercise to help someone, right? Did y'all continue to do it to help people? I know I was a bit vague. So some of you may have thought that, oh, just do one day. Then after, Sifu never give any other new exercises. Yeah. So try some more. Yeah. For those who have tried helping people, how do you find? Was it easy to find someone to help? Not so easy. When you really think about it, it's actually not easy, because we're born in Singapore. In Singapore, you as Singapore become more and more affluent, it's not easy to render help. Yeah, not so easy. Two incidences I will share with you now, and then you all can go and think about it. The first one is there was one time before I entered university, I work in Emporium. Yeah, the old Emporium. Yeah, Ying Bao Liang closed down already. Not because of me, but it's a very old school shopping center. And I work in the supermarket part-time as a stacker. You know what a stacker is? You go to the supermarket, it's always filled with things, right? Then sometimes you see one of the staff with a whole trolley of things, then they are stacking things. So that job is very, very task-based. Stacker, then the name of the job is literally just what they are doing, stack. All they have to do is stack. They don't have to think. They don't have to do planning. They don't have to do any kind of management. Just stack. Yeah. So I used to I share a lot about all these different jobs I've done. Today the sharing is about how when it's time for lunch, they brought me to the nearby coffee shop, and then they told me that they have this practice. They will take turn to give each others a treat. Yeah. And so since I'm a new guy, I should give everybody a treat. Of course, maybe they are just trying to take advantage of me, like bully me. But on a daily basis, it does rotate, more or less. Yeah. And of course, at that point in time, then I'm thinking, on the spot, I'm thinking, then what's the point of that, right? Today I treat, tomorrow you treat. Then anyway, we're still paying the same amount. In the resultant amount that you are paying is still the same amount. Then what for do that, right? So I remember I actually asked one of them. Then the person told me that no lah, because actually some of us, by our cash flow, sometimes don't have enough money to go around. So sometimes we need to help each other too. go around. Yeah, and at that age, I just couldn't understand. Yeah, but there was a point where I also thought about it because the pay is miserable. As a temporary staff, I don't know whether it's considered part-time or temporary because I was working the same number of hours as the rest. I think it's more like temporary staff, not part-time. It was just a miserable $500. That was 1994, like $500. So it got me thinking, how about the rest? I'm just doing this for during my holidays before I enter university. How about them? How are they going to survive in $500, you know? Yeah, even if it's twice the amount, $1,000, what are they going to do? They cannot have a family or how to start a family with $1,000, you know? Yeah. And of course, that was just that period. Because after that, by the time I finished my studies and I go out to work, in fact, even when I was in university, I don't recall any time where hallmates, classmates actually borrow money from each other. Yeah. Somehow, by the time you reach university, somehow everybody can, sort things out. Yeah, or something like. And especially by the time I went to work, like unless the person lost the wallet or got robbed or something, Yeah. So when I think back to that time in Emporium, then I realized, yeah, is during that time that my co-workers, my colleagues, they would actually need your help to help them financially. And I'm not talking about, oh, I want to buy a car. Can you lend me $10,000? No, no. It's like, hey, today's lunch, can you pay for me? Lunch, like, and last time lunch is like what? $1.50, $2, $3, $2 is like complete meal. Yeah. Back in the 90s, $2 搞了嘛. At most three lah, maybe three. Yeah, coffee shop is $1.50, $2 my last time. So it's like, wow. The second story I want to share with you is, so by the time I started work, as I said, you don't really, you stop to think that people may have difficulty paying for their meal, right? Yeah, because at least for my work environment, everybody is working professional. Like who would need you to pay for his meal, right? The strange thing is that even though nobody need to pay for anybody's meal, then you start to have people buying coffee for each other, not because people need, but because people want to make friends with you, want to buy you over, buy your support. Yeah, right? Yeah, so in a way, it was good that I worked before I become monk. So I got to know all this because I don't have such concepts. And I still don't do such things. So maybe some people feel like, well, but okay, so second story. So second story, one day, I went to I went to the hawker center. Aljunied Sablao, Pipit Road, Circuit Road. So after I started work, I would usually go to when I was in my first job, I would go to food court once in a while, maybe go to some, but rarely lah. Usually I go food court. Then second job, higher pay, eh? Got more money, then you start to think, hey, how should I spend it? And because the work environment is different. First job was in Jurong, IBP. So over there, and the canteen is there, then all your colleagues go to canteen, then you just go canteen, then you are used to going to food court. So second job, it was in Suntec. So Suntec, okay, there's food court also. Yeah. And of course, for lunch, usually we go food court. But after lunch, sometimes when we meet for colleagues, then you tend to you go to some fancy places, Yeah. And during the late 90s, then tend to have a lot of fusion this, fusion that, got Japanese with Western, Western with Thai, what, all kinds of fusion stuff. So go to all these fancy restaurants. So the thing is, even if you go to food court or you go to restaurants, there's something that you will not encounter, which is what I encountered when I went to the hawker center. As I sat there and then started to eat, then suddenly one person came over to ask me whether I want to buy tissue. And and I bought a tissue and then it struck me, I was like, oh yeah, it's been a long time since I encountered this. It's been a long time I get a chance to actually give, yeah, it hit me, I don't know whether you all feel that way, but for me, it was a very stark thing. Yeah, because at some point, like if you go to work early in the morning, you won't encounter anybody at MRT selling things. 7+, yeah, usually it's in the daytime, right? Then, especially later on, I started driving. Once you start driving, right, you don't encounter the majority of the public space. Yeah. And then you don't go to hawker center, then so that moment, it was so precious to me. I was like, wow. I was thinking, wow, how many months or maybe has it been a year? Yeah. So I was like, wow. So the next time when you're at if you encounter someone who asks you to buy tissue paper, uh, or let's say I ever encountered also people who are just sitting there and then ask me for $2. Yeah. There's always this question, are they for real? Or sometimes people go around with a card and then tell you that they are with the Handicap Society, they're selling these small little things. Yeah. And usually it's quite overpriced one. One small little keychain, $10. Right? Yeah, and are there, they always say syndicate group, right? Maybe there are, maybe some of them are syndicate groups. Yeah. But let's split them first. Those that you don't think is syndicate group and those that you think is syndicate group. Yeah. If you encounter those who are selling tissue, take the opportunity to give. Yeah. I don't say that you must give extra to give them. In fact, some I ever encountered before, you give the auntie more, and that auntie, no, I'm not begging. I'm selling tissue. You don't give me more. Yeah. And I think sometimes when you give more than they need or they are selling, it actually diminishes their dignity. Yeah, because if they are selling things, then they are simply working for the kid, ma. Whereas if you give more than that, then sometimes it can become like you are pitying them, Yeah. Then they feel like, walao eh, what they 做康了了 what are you trying to do? Yeah. Then how about syndicates? Yeah. If you know for real that that group is conning people, then don't buy low. But if you are not sure, then the question is why if you're not sure, then assume the better of people. Yeah, especially if you're, let's say, selling some trinkets, at least they're selling something. You can still decide whether you want to buy or not. Then it's not con ma. Yeah. It's just that the markup is higher, maybe. Yeah. But I've also encountered some where they sell the things in a way it's reasonable. Yeah. But sometimes you got to wonder what is reasonable, what is not reasonable, right? Yeah. The same trinket, if you go overseas, you're more likely to just spend some stupid money to buy it, right? Yeah. So sometimes, so in our daily life, whether it's helping people or giving to others, it's actually becoming more and more difficult, especially if your certain environment don't expose you to those who are in need. Yeah. And that's why on occasion where possible, we'll do some community services, yeah, to let everybody have a chance to put the teachings to practice. But as they say, 百善孝为先. Yeah. Yeah. You want to do charity, you want to do goodness, yeah. Start with your parents. Okay. But one last thing, if your parents have an addiction problem, don't give them money. 好，阿弥陀佛。Have a what? Have a kind day ahead.